What's up and welcome back to another video. Guys, today I'm going to be reviewing set 75342, the Republic Fighter Tank. Now this set released in April of 2022 and retired in December of 2023. It released for $40 USD. It has 262 pieces and 6 minifigures. So without further ado, let's get right on into this review. Now, I would have to say that these 6 minifigures that we do receive in this set are definitely the highlight. Maybe not on the droid side of things, but we also get 2 of the 187th Regs, as well as a 187th Commander and or Airborne Trooper, and a very good Mace Windu minifigure. But let's take a closer look at all of these minifigs. Now, taking a look at our first and probably my favorite minifigure in this entire set, we have the 187th Clone Trooper. Now, first off, I just have to say I am super happy that LEGO decided to go with a more niche non-canon. I'm not sure if these guys are canon or not. Let me know down below in the comment section if these are canon Clone Troopers or not. But nonetheless, I'm very happy that LEGO actually did go and give us these guys instead of, say, the 212th or the 501st. Don't get me wrong, I do love the 212th and the 501st, but it is very refreshing to see a new Clone Trooper that we have not gotten before. Now, taking a look at the minifig themselves, they actually have some very, very good printing on them. These are some of my favorite clones that we have gotten recently from LEGO. The purple color scheme is very, very good. Looking at the helmet, it kind of mimics the Shock Trooper design that we have seen before, and just on the other Clone Troopers. However, it is in purple instead of red or gray, and it just looks very, very good in my opinion. There's also no helmet holes on these Clone Troopers, which I know for some people that is a big plus. I know a lot of people do not like the helmet holes. I'm kind of indifferent about it, but I will say that these guys look great. Shifting down to the torso, you have some basic but very good printing with those purple accents, as well as that little arm sash or pauldron type thing, which does look very, very good. Yes, it would have been nice to have maybe gotten a little pauldron to go on him, a cloth one, but definitely not something that is necessary in my opinion. Looking toward the belt, with some good detail, and then finally to the legs with some very good printing as well. And then coming along to the back, not much printing, but you do have the back side of that little sash going on, as well as the printing on the belt looking very good. And you also do get 2 of these guys in this Republic Fighter Tank. Overall, I think this is a great minifigure. The next figure that we're going to take a look at is the 187th Legion Clone Commander. I think this is a pretty good figure, also known as the Airborne Trooper, as it does utilize that iconic airborne helmet that we've actually only ever seen with the 212th before, but I'm very excited to see it in this new Clone Trooper, and I hope to see it utilized in some more Clone Legions in the future, because the Airborne Troopers just have such a cool design. Now, it is a primarily white helmet with some small purple accenting in the front that I do think looks very, very good. Now, moving on to the torso prints, there is actually quite a few differences and details that were added in here versus the reg that we got before. Looking toward the Airborne or the Commander, you can see first off you have this small little marking on the breastplate to signify that this is the Commander in that nice kind of blue color that contrasts very well with the purple. And then looking toward the small arm sash, there's actually quite a few differences. It's not just the same old print, which is something that I thought LEGO would do, but you can see that it is a bigger little black spot right there, as well as having more of the straps coming down and a small clip. And on the belt, it is solid purple on the reg versus on the Commander it is just the normal white. Now, I think that these differences look very good, and it kind of helps immerse you in kind of this set in a way, because the Commander does have so many differences from the reg. I just think it was a very nice detail, and I think LEGO definitely knocked it out of the park with these Clone Troopers. However, moving to my one issue with this guy, it is the printed waist cape. I think waist capes are great in LEGO Star Wars. I think they look great, especially on the Clone Troopers. However, when they are printed, I do not think that they have that same effect. I would rather just get the normal legs on this guy. I think when they are printed, it takes away from the minifigure more than it adds. Just looking, it has that little seam there that just doesn't look good. And then looking from the side, you can't even see it on the side or the back. And it's not 3D. It just looks like he has some markings on his legs. I just wish that we had gotten the waist cape. I think it would have looked so much better than this printed version. And that's the only reason that I don't think this minifigure is perfect. I think that they changed that. This would have been my favorite figure in the set hands down, and maybe even my favorite figure from all of that year. But moving to the back, you just don't have that belt detail on the back that you do on the reg, as it is just the white belt, but you have the back side of the straps, which does look good and adds some nice needed detail to the back. Otherwise it would just be all plain, which I don't think would have looked good, so I'm happy that they have these straps carrying along to the back. Overall, I think this is a very solid Clone Trooper. I just think my big issue is that printed waist cape. And our next minifigure is Mace Windu, and I think this version of Mace Windu kind of knocks it out of the park. There is some great detail here. Looking at the robes, first off, you have the 2 layers. It just looks so good, and then the belt. But I think the big thing that knocks this one out of the park is that arm printing. You have the Republic logo on kind of like that Clone Wars style armor on his arm, as well as the detailing on the folds and the print. It just looks so good. And coming to the other side, you have his comm link, also just looks so great. And then the back has some very good printing as well. And then the legs have some basic printing. And as for his head, he just has, you know, only one expression, because you don't want a double-sided head on Mace Windu, because, you know, he's got nothing to cover up that back side of the face. That would look a little bit odd. But I think this is such a great minifigure. This is one of the best, if not the best, versions of Mace Windu that we have ever got. LEGO definitely outdid themselves with this one. Lastly, we get 2 of the droids. Now, this is a very nice inclusion. However, you know, they're just boring old droids, so I'm not going to talk much. But I do love when LEGO does throw in some opposition for the clones to fight against. So, you know, you can buy the set and you can have them fight. And I will say this does use that newer color for the blaster, but I guess it's not really new anymore. It was kind of new at the time, but these are just your plain old droids that we get in every other set. Now, moving on to the build itself, this is actually one that I wasn't a fan of at first, but the more that I've had it and the more time that I've had to sit on it, because it has been about 2-3 years, I've grown to like it quite a bit more, I will say. One of the big, like, weird things that they did was this cockpit piece to, you know, open up. And there's also a quick disclaimer, there's a ton of stickers in this set. For the size of the set, 262 pieces, you can just see how many stickers are all over this thing. So if you're not a fan of stickers, you probably won't be a fan of this set. Now, I will say the silhouette is done pretty good, and when comparing it to the previous version that we got in the past, the most recent one, it is a pretty big upscale. However, these are technically 2 different kinds of Republic fighter tanks. It's not the same source material. However, if you want a in-depth comparison of these 2, I might look into doing a video like that in the future, so let me know if that's something that you would be interested in. But I will say the overall shape of this is a little bit off, in my opinion. It's very kind of square on this part right here. The walls are perfectly flat and going up, and then they're kind of abrupted by our little cannons on the side, which also don't look too good. I think the model here was not done very good by LEGO, I have to say. I don't think it looks great. Now, I don't think it looks bad. It's definitely cool, and it is easy to work in the MOCs. It's fun to army build. It's fun to have a couple of these bad boys. I just don't think it is that aesthetically pleasing. I would pick this one every day of the week, but that's not the one we're talking about or reviewing. I think one of the big issues that I have with this, though, is that it leaves a gap when you close it. So you're always going to have this little gap there, and it just doesn't look good, in my opinion. I would have preferred to have just seen this brick built, but you can open that up. You can fit your minifig right in here, which is nice. You can sit them down. You can actually squeeze 2 in there if you really wanted to, but I don't know why you would want to do that. But you can fit your minifig in, and then this closes up right over him. However, you kind of can't if he has that. You have to like lean him back. He's got to lay down a bit, and then you can close it, but then you still have your gap. I'm just not a fan of the whole gap situation. But looking past that, moving to the back, you actually do have your small little back door here, which I am a big fan of. Unfortunately, you can't do much with it. I guess you can kind of like get your fingers in there. You can put some sort of crate or something like that, and you can access the top area. I think it is nice that we got this. It would have been nice if they utilized that room just a little bit more, but I do like the inclusion of the back door. Moving up to the top, you have your little top door that opens up. It's actually kind of hard to get under there if you don't have longer nails, but you get that popped open just like that, and then you can throw another minifigure in there. But before we do, you do have this small little control panel in there for your minifig to take control of, and you know, they just stand up right there on those bricks, and I think they do look pretty good up there. I think LEGO got a really good height for them to be stepping out, and I think it does look good compared to something like, I hate to keep going back and comparing to this other one because it's not really the point of this video, but you actually had to have your minifig kind of grab on to this little thing and hold themselves up, versus here they can just stand up. So I think that is a pretty big improvement. And then the last kind of small issue that I have are just the cannons on the side. I think they're very bulky and kind of they're ugly. It doesn't flow with the rest of the builds. I would have liked a more sleek design here. And also they do have those spring-loaded shooters that, I mean, you can just, you know, pop them right out, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, it's a nice play feature. I just think that it was integrated pretty poorly. It's just too blocky for me. I will say, going down to like the actual side parts of this, the actual tracks and the tank part. It looks very good. It's very sleek, and it just looks very good in my opinion. I just wish that that's kind of what they went for the rest of this build, because I think looking at this topper area, it's just too bulky for me. It just doesn't look good. It doesn't flow very well. Nonetheless though, I know it kind of sounds like I'm hating on this build. I still like it, especially for the price that you can get it at. I think this was a very good set, and at the end of the day, let's be honest, you're not buying this for the build. Maybe you are, but the minifigs here are definitely the highlight. The 187th Troopers, and you get 3 of them in here, so I can't really complain. I just wish that the build was done just a little bit differently. I don't think it is a bad build. You can still tell it's a Republic fighter tank, and it doesn't necessarily look bad. It's just not really my style of a build. And then looking at the top right here, you do have your small little glass area as well. You can't really fit a minifig behind there, but it is nice they did include that. Overall, I think it's a solid build. It has a lot of stickers and it is a little bulky, but it is still a nice one in my opinion, better than some of the other stuff that we have been getting. Now, I do think that this is a great set with a great value, and luckily it's still pretty cheap. Even though it's retired, you can still find it for about $40 new sealed in box, and maybe even like 20 or 30 used, and that's mainly because this was a Target exclusive, and come that Black Friday that this was on shelves, it went on sale for $25. It's just $25 for this set. It was an insane deal. A lot of people bought a ton, so there are a ton on the market that you can buy for still pretty much retail price, which is great. And if you don't own this already, I do think it is a great set. I know I was kind of complaining about the build, but that doesn't mean I don't like the build. I think the build is still pretty good. I just wish that LEGO went in a different direction. I do think the highlight here are the minifigures, and I also don't think that we will ever see the 187th again. I think the minifigures are great. The clone troopers are really, really good. I think Mace Windu is one of, if not the best versions that we've ever gotten, and there's droids there too. But overall, I would have to say this set is very, very good. If I had to give it a rating out of 10, I think I'd give it an 8 or an 8.5 out of 10, which is a very good rating. Now, I love this set. I do think that the build had some room for improvement, but at the end of the day, I think it is a great set. So let me know down below in the comments what you guys thought about this set, if you owned this set, if you plan on buying this set, and thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe. Drew is signing out.